If you ever feel lazy, inconsistent, or like you're falling behind, it's not that you are undisciplined, my love. It's that you are a female being trying to follow a male productivity system that was never meant for you. If you don't know me, my name is Ira Morphy. Welcome to my channel. I'm a quantum alignment coach for women, and I've actually scaled multiple six-figure businesses in my life with peace, thanks to actually getting out of hustle culture and aligning myself, my productivity, and overall my whole life around my feminine energy rhythm. Today, I'm going to be teaching you exactly how you can be consistent, successful, and productive without burning out, all using my personal method rooted in energy alignment for women. So grab a notebook and paper and let's get straight into it. First, let's get into why you are burning out. Most productivity advice is completely built on masculine hormonal cycles, right? You see these different trends and different habits on social media of people waking up at 5 in the morning, taking an ice bath, going straight into working out, starting to work at like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. and then working all day and then going to sleep. And that is honestly the way that a male works, a 24-hour cycle that works with the sun's energy. So their testosterone goes up in the morning and then it goes out in the evening, which you can see is actually the system that our entire world is built in. We wake up and we go to work at a 9 to 5, and then at 5 we get off and we, go home tired, and then we go to sleep and repeat the whole thing. But that's actually a man's world. And I'm not surprised, of course, and nothing against men, of course, but women work very differently. Women operate on a 28-day energetic cycle that is aligned with the moon, and it affects deeply their creativity, their consistency, their ability to take action, their energy, their clarity as well. And when you end up ignoring that rhythm, what happens is that you start to wonder why you don't want to do things, right? You start to see all these different trends and morning routines, and you wonder, why am I not productive? You start to force yourself through these low energy days. You start to judge yourself for needing rest. And that's when you start to block all these blessings that you're trying to manifest into your life, because I'm sure you're here because you have goals, right? You're trying to take action, but the results that you are seeking, you're gonna end up restricting them, right? You're gonna end up blocking them because when you're in survival mode, you're not magnetic. I used to be the classic Miami boss babe entrepreneur, like living in this high rise, waking up early in the morning and trying to do all these things, right? Like to the T. Starting to work at like 9 in the morning and not stopping till 7 p.m., 8 p.m. And I would look at it as like, oh, I'm so productive. I'm checking all these things off my list. What happened though was that eventually I had to force myself through these days. I was burnt out. I was feeling so empty, because when you disconnect from that flow within you, what happens? You disconnect from yourself, literally. So I was feeling so disconnected, so empty, so unfulfilled with my work. And I couldn't find the passion in life. Like if life just felt so vague. And the problem arose when I started to dread my work. I no longer liked anything I did. And I think that's why I became so miserable. But of course, it wasn't until I actually came across the principle of gender, because I work with the law of duality and metaphysics, that I started working with my feminine energy more and healing the imbalance which I have an entire page about. Literally my entire page is about that. But one of the main things was actually adjusting my routine and my productivity cycles to a feminine energy flow instead of trying to do things like a man does, right? And once I started to connect with my cycle, connect with myself, because it's more than just connecting with your cycle, as you will see in this video, I started to actually magnetize massive results in my business, and I also started a whole new business that was more aligned with myself. And that's the energy every woman should be in, of course, where she's magnetizing, but at the same time, she is relaxed and she's aligned. So let's get into the second part, feminine energy. Your feminine energy is your ability to be receptive, your creativity, your heart. It's your internal world. It is where you get your ideas from, your vision. It is where you feel connected to the things around you, to the earth, to people. It is literally your heart, your emotions, right? But when you have been conditioned to be in survival survival mode. Your feminine gets suppressed. You end up craving control and getting things done and getting results and doing all things for yourself instead of surrendering to God's will or the universe. So you avoid them and you focus on logic. The problem is that you're building structure from fear and not alignment, right? The whole reason why you even repress your feminine energy was because of survival, aka fear. So how can you build an aligned work system? Let's talk about how you can build a work rhythm that honors your feminine energy but still keeps you productive. So women work on a 28-day cycle, just like I said, that is tuned into the moon, right? So we have 4 phases in this cycle. The first one is the menstruation phase. That's the one that everybody knows about, but we have 3 more. So then we have the follicular phase, the ovulation phase, which is the funnest one, and then we have the luteal phase. So we're not gonna get too much into cycle syncing in this video because obviously it's about much more than just cycle syncing, but let me just break it down super quickly, right? So the menstruation phase, once again, is the most popular one that we all know because we literally bleed, but we're shedding the uterine lining, and this is when energy is very low. But your intuition is very, very high here. So it's a perfect time to rest, to reflect, and to reset. So then you have your follicular phase right after your period ends, and that is when your estrogen starts to rise, so you feel more energy. You feel more creative, more social, more inspired. So it's a perfect time to start new projects, to start actually putting in more work. Usually in this time, I love to write more content, right? I love to write a lot of content. I love to batch shoot content. Like usually in the follicular phase and ovulation phase is when I'm doing like the most work, right? Also perfect time to set intention for how you want to take action in these like upper beat phases. Then you have the ovulation phase, which is the one that we all love the most because this is when your estrogen peaks. Like this is when you have the most energy, you look the best, you are the most social, the most magnetic. This is a great time to talk, to network, right? This is a great time to make content, to be social, etc. Just get your Mercury energy running through you, right? Be more visible, start to pitch more, things like that with your business. And also, of course, I use this to take more action because when you have this energy, you're just flowing, and all the action that you put in, you put it with really good intentions, with magnetic energy that actually gives you better results. And then the 4th phase is the luteal phase, and this is when progesterone rises. You have just ovulated, the egg didn't get fertilized, so your body is shedding and is preparing to shed the uterine lining through menstruation. So in the beginning of your luteal phase, you still have some of that ovulation energy, but then towards the end of your luteal phase, maybe like a week before your menstruation, that's why you feel, usually women feel more drained, you know, they start to feel more irritable, more irritated. I don't know how to say that. I got an accent, so excuse that. But you go inwards more, you become more detail oriented, but at the same time, you start to have less creativity and you start to be more sensitive and prone to your subconscious energy. So this is a perfect time to start wrapping up your tasks, to not be so expressive like in the ovulation phases, to start doing more admin work, things that are more like within, and just to rest more and go inwards, right? Like analyze how you're feeling, hold space for yourself, etc. So the second thing to be more productive besides syncing with your cycle is to do time blocks, but not just any kind of time blocks. So the brain is actually the most active and able to focus and work in a prominent and very effective way when it works in time blocks of an hour to an hour and 30 minutes. If you keep working after an hour and 30 minutes, your brain is not going to be able to hold up the same amount of focus and concentration that allows it to give better results in your work. So you quite literally should be taking blocks of 1 hour to 1 hour and 30 minutes and then take a break. So what I do is that the day before work, I am very clear on exactly the tasks that I have to do. And I write them out on a whiteboard. You can use a planner, whatever it is. And then I don't write out like, oh, from this time you do this, this, and this. I just get done what I get done, right? So I set a timer for an hour and 30 minutes every single time I work, and then I focus solely on that specific tasks that I have to do. If I finish it, then I start the other one as long as the timer hasn't gone off. But if the timer goes off, you take a break. Now you can take a break for 15 minutes, for 30 minutes, depending on the intensity of the work that you took. what do you do in your break? That's a great question. You should have breaks that are very restful, but at the same time stimulate your feminine energy. So what I like to do is that besides me writing down my tasks, I also like to write things hobbies that I want to start doing. So it could be drawing, it could be singing, it could be writing poetry, it could be journaling, meditation, yoga, movement, whatever it is, right? I write it down on my whiteboard and then I just pick one of them and I go and do it on my break. I try to not use my phone at all in my breaks. Reason why is because I don't want to be getting like that fake dopamine hit, because your brain doesn't rest, okay? So you're literally taking your break for no reason if you're using your phone and you're watching TikToks. So don't use your phone on your break. Do another type of activity that helps you stimulate the right side of your brain, right? That creative energy inside of you. And every single time I get back to work, I try to switch locations, okay? So you can work an hour and 30 minutes in one place and then you go back and you work maybe in your office, in your living room, in your dinner table. You just switch it up. This is literally scientifically proven, but when the brain gets a new environment change, it literally resets everything and you are able to focus even better and get more ideas and more flow with your work. You can even switch locations completely, like get out of your house, go to a coffee shop, right? Switch locations in the coffee shop, whatever it is. I just recommend you to move to another area. Number 3 is to work with your nervous system and not against it. So one thing that is sacred to me is my morning. And my morning, yes, I do have a routine, but I'm not completely like, oh, you need a routine, right? Doing things that are in flow, in movement with what you feel in that day is super important. But having your morning blocked off, like literally waking up and not looking at blue light, which comes from your phone, but looking at the sunlight first thing, right? Not drinking coffee first thing in the morning, which spikes your cortisol unless obviously you have eaten something. Get into your body. One thing that is so important in mornings is that you need to embody yourself more. Get into your body, start doing yoga, some flow, Pilates. I love Pilates. I actually got into working out. I'm somebody who movement has always been, or physical movement has always been super hard for me, but I got into working out through dancing, right? So dancing, moving, just being more in your body, connecting with your body is super important to tap into your feminine energy first thing in the morning, or just in the morning overall, it doesn't matter. But one thing that you need to be very strict is like from the time that you wake up until the time that you need to work, you do not look at your phone, you do not worry about work, you do not look at anything that is work related. Your mornings are sacred, and when you start to respect that, you will see a humongous change in your mood and how you approach yourself. I also do structure my mornings around my cycle. So for example, if I'm in my luteal phase and I'm about to enter into my menstruation, I like to do something more light when I work out, right? Like a very light Pilates or yoga that helps me open up my hips. If I see that I wake up with like this weird sad energy, which I usually do feel a lot when I'm like about to be in my menstruation, I like to journal a lot. So I make my journaling in the morning about like all these feelings, etc. And if I'm feeling good, I make it about feeling good. I start to manifest in my journal, right? So just structure and build these rituals in your morning that you respect and that you actually look forward to doing, because that is going to connect you so much more to your feminine energy, to yourself, to your heart. Okay, so the last part of this video, I want to make it about the masculine energy, because as I was saying, feminine energy is like not everything. You need both. Okay, your masculine energy needs to be your structure. Of course, your masculine energy is your focus, your consistency, your ability to organize yourself, which you use quite a lot, obviously, when you're doing your time blocks. But now it has to serve your feminine flow, not repress it. So just remember, when you take action, when you're consistent, when you're productive, you're using a combination of these two energies. But the problem becomes or happens when you only take action, when you only organize, when you only structure, and then you forget to rest, then you forget to be creative, then you forget to be in flow, to tune into yourself. That's not what you want to do. So always remember that your masculine energy is meant to be the container for your feminine. It's not meant to repress it. It's not meant to replace it. Being consistent does not mean forcing your way through life and making yourself do things even if you don't want to, right? Yes, discipline is important, but it's about finding that rhythm inside of you and following it. Building from emotional truth and letting your energy lead the way. And one of the most important things to actually take control over your reality and start to live that thriving life that you actually deserve and that is possible for you, because all realities are possible, is balancing your masculine and feminine energies and learning to work with these two energies in order to become a confident reality creator and actually achieve the things that you want, but by becoming magnets instead of forcing them, which is what my page is about. So if you're interested in actually reaching your potential through the metaphysical, make sure to subscribe. And you can check out my free training below on exactly how to scale massively from flow rather than burnout, all through quantum alignment using masculine and feminine energies. Anyways, I'm Myra Morphy. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next lesson.